13 single-family homes sold in New Hartford in August, which is a record high sale since August of 2023. But that's not the only record that New Hartford broke last month in the real estate world. I'm your neighborhood realtor, Julie Uvari, and I'm here with your weekly New Hartford real estate news. 13 single-family homes sold in August in New Hartford. Property number 1 is 22 Windsor Lane. This property is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,804 square foot cape. It sits on 2.65 acres and it was listed at $715,000, but it sold for $725,000. The next property that sold was in the Pine Meadow community, 17 Ridgeview Terrace. This property is a 3-bed, 1.5-bath, 2,184 square foot colonial. It was listed at $349,900 and sold for $342,000. The third property is 425 East Cotton Hill Road. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,158 square foot home on 1.06 acres. It was listed at $324,000 and sold for $355,000 cash. The fourth property is 57 Prospect Street, a 3-bed, 1.5-bath, 1,376 square foot home. It was listed at $269,900 and sold for $300,000. The next property is 446 Cedar Lane. It's a 5-bed, 4.5-bath home with 3,253 square feet. It sits on 3.73 acres and it was listed at $829,000 but sold at $803,000. The sixth property that sold is 51 Little Brick Road. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,500 square foot ranch. It sits on 0.7 acres. It was listed for $319,000 but sold for $358,500. However, the seller did provide a $3,500 credit to the buyer at closing for their closing costs and prepaids. The seventh property that sold is 16 Pioneer Drive. This is a 3-bed, 2.5-bath home with 2,383 square feet and 1.89 acres. It was listed at $650,000, sold at $650,000, but the seller did provide the buyer with a $6,250 credit at closing. The next property is 68 Cottage Street. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath home with 1,232 square feet, 0.10 acres. It was listed for $299,900 and sold for $290,000. The ninth property that sold, 10 Park Meadow. This is a 4-bed, 2-bath home with 1,229 square feet, 0.12 acres. It was listed at $285,000 and it sold for $310,000. The next property is 88 Dutton. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath home with 1,030 square feet and 1 acre of land. It was listed at $340,000 and it sold for $340,000. The next property is 126 Barons Road. This is a 3-bed, 2.5-bath home with 2,390 square feet and 7.13 acres. It was listed for $575,000 and actually sold for $600,000. The 12th property is 68 High Street. This is a 5-bed, 3.5-bath home with 2,413 square feet, and it sits on 1.14 acres. The property was listed for $685,000, sold for $685,000, but the seller gave a $20,000 credit to the buyer at closing. The last property that sold in August in New Hartford, 42 Beanie Road. This is a 4-bed, 3-bath home with 2,785 square feet and 3.54 acres. And get this, it was listed for $565,000 and it sold for $601,000 cash. So that wraps up all our sales for the month of August. And now for our second record-breaking stat for August in New Hartford. So in August of this year, on average, properties sold for 4.9% over their asking price. This chart goes all the way back to 2000, and we can see on the black line, the average percent over ask price that properties sold for between this time. Pretty steady from 2000 to 2019, so pretty normal, fluctuated pretty normally. But looking at this other chart showing just the past 5 years, we can see just how much this black line has jumped, and we just see that the average percent over ask price that people are getting for their properties is increasing dramatically. I mean, we can see on the chart that between 2000 and 2021, numbers were all negative, meaning on average, people were getting less than ask price for their properties. But for the last 3 years, since 2022, we have been seeing positive numbers, which we had never seen. So if you have been trying to buy in New Hartford for the past 3 to 4 years and are struggling and you're feeling discouraged, I hope these charts help you understand that this is a market we've never seen before. None of these numbers are what we're used to seeing. You are not alone in this, so just hang in there. Now, jumping into town news. If you're in town this weekend or you're just visiting the area, don't miss out on the Chalk Walk that's right in the center of New Hartford. There's gonna be vendors, live music, raffles. People are gonna be decorating the sidewalk squares all the way from Town Hall down to Barden's Market. So it should be really, really fun. And that is it for your weekly New Hartford real estate news for this week. As always, thank you guys for watching. If you like my videos, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any other video ideas that you want me to talk about, please put them in the comments. I'm always open to suggestions. I'm here for any of you if you are looking to buy or sell, or if you're just looking to talk about real estate, I'm happy to help. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week.